I chaired the first ever EurOMA conference along with my co-chairs Mike Gregory and Ken Platts. The theme was Operation Strategy and Performance. We held it in Cambridge University, beautiful summer's day. Lasting memory of the conference, in those days there was no online submission, so the night before the conference, when everybody submitted their abstracts, they'd come in by fax. And you would get 100 faxes overnight, each 2 pages long. When you came in the morning, you had to work out which sets of pages went together to create the right abstracts. I'm not sure we always got it right, and some of them probably made more sense when you mix the abstracts up.
Now, I did the second. What was special about it was that it was actually the first EurOMA conference off the shores of England, or actually off the shores of Great Britain. It was the first continental conference. Small, we had around just over 100 participants. But I mean, as a young association, that's what it is. We stayed small for a couple of years, continued, and I believe it was 4 or 5 years later that we kind of made a quantum leap to get 140, then 170, and then we, with the Italian conference in Venice, we jumped over 200 participants. So the first years small, and then it started growing.
Until about 5 years ago, we were mainly manufacturing oriented, and then all of a sudden supply chain people got very involved, and they suddenly discovered this was a great conference. So instead of going elsewhere, all the supply chain people started coming to EurOMA as well. So this kind of created a bigger, broader community at just the right time for growth. So that's one key aspect of growth.
Yeah, I think a very important thing is that this area has been established, because we have all these other disciplines in marketing, organization, behavior and so on. And you know, our most famous journals were started around 1980s. We are very young, not very established, and now you say that this is a community that's becoming strong from being nothing. So I think that's fantastic how it's been developed so fast.
Yeah.
We selected the service management topic, and I think we were a little bit ahead of our time. Service management in operations was not a well-developed field. We had quite a lot of that interest in doing this topic because we believe on that. We believe that the operations management was moving more into services than manufacturing. We had done some work on that and wanted to position EurOMA into that field. So we selected that topic. We got some 98 papers published in the proceedings. And we got something like 160 participants. We had the support of the city. We had a meeting at the City Hall. We had another one at the local Ministry of Industry. And we had a dinner in the all stock exchange in the city. It was very exciting for the new organization to move to the south of Europe. Remember, that comes from a very English association. And so I think it was the beginning of the strong Spanish presence into the association, which has lasted until today.
I'm Paul Coughlin, and in 1998 I was co-chair of the 5th EurOMA conference. My other co-chair at that time was Tony Drumgoole, who sadly passed away in January of this year. Tony was well aware of our plans for Dublin in 2013, and in particular he knew that the book of proceedings would be quite different to the one that we produced back in 1998. Then we had 96 papers and 171 participants. This year in 2013 we had 400 papers and over 500 participants. But the theme was the same, focused on competitiveness and the contribution that operations could make to improving it in both manufacturing products and in services.
Venice 99 and Como 2003 conference were jointly organized by the team from the University of Padua and Polytechnic Milano. They were both successful and much appreciated conference by the delegates. And we have to say that a location helped us a lot in this. But the location also taught us a lot in terms of real operations management. At those times, we still have heavy proceedings. You remember the heavy books? Well, To transport the proceeding in Venice, we had to rent a boat, and in Como, to place the proceedings at the second floor of the old building, we had to make a lot of calculus to guarantee the stability of the building. Also, the gala dinner are sweet memories. In Venice, we got the gala dinner in one of the most beautiful palaces facing the Grand Canal. And I remember when we served the aperitif, all the delegates were having it on the stub in Grand Canal. Well, because the numbers, the way the stub started to sink. My most vivid memory in Venice was the venue that we got for the conference. It was the beautiful great school of San Giovanni Evangelista. It was an old building, and being there with the Tiziano paintings and the wall was really emotional for us that organized everything. All the delegates were happy.
My name is Anne Verreken. I was the co-chair of the EurOMA conference in the year 2000 that was held in Ghent in Belgium. I was doing that job together with Roland van Deerdonk, so both of us were chairing. It was a special conference for me. At that moment I was 7 months pregnant, so I was probably the most pregnant conference chair ever. What was also special about that conference is it was a rather small one. In the same year there was another conference in the same summer, so the attendance was rather low, but that made it so special because it was, let's say, cozy. Everybody knew everybody in the conference, and people still refer to that one as one of the more cozy ones in the long list of conferences.
The special thing about Copenhagen, in a way, it was the second conference that was co-organized. The first one was also in Italy, but the second one that was co-organized between Aalborg University, where I'm from, and Copenhagen Business School, took place in wonderful Copenhagen. And that attracted people, apparently, because we jumped from 180 or so to over 200. And it saw the launch, that's the special thing about it, the launch of the doctoral seminar, the doctoral workshop. And it's called the doctoral seminar officially. We started with 19 students, and I believe last year we had 39, and perhaps this year over 40 students taking part. So the conference after that significantly grew in numbers, but also it's sort of the start of this, doctoral seminar, doctoral network, if you like.
EurOMA in Como in 2003 was a very challenging conference. First of all, it was the first EurOMA and POMS conference. So it was the first time in history, in the history of EurOMA, that these two international conferences were held together. That was a challenge for us because we had to manage more than 400 people coming. We had more than 300 papers, which at the time were pretty much the double as a normal EurOMA, so it was really the first time of a lot of things. And it was really important for us also because from a scientific point of view, it was a moment in which we had to try to find a good way to put together theory and practice. That was the real topic of the conference, using and leveraging people coming from Europe and also people coming from the US.
So I have chaired the 2005 EurOMA meeting together with my colleague Christine Demeter. The title of this conference was Operations and Global Competitiveness, and it was very timely because it was when the European Union extended itself with 10 new countries, including Hungary, and everybody was excited what's going to happen after this that was the biggest extension of the European Union. So many of the discussions were about this new situation, and we had two company visits. One of them was a leading software company, and the other one is a manufacturing one, where actually we could see what kind of first experiences are from this joining the European Union.
Hi there. We co-chaired the EurOMA conference in 2008 in Groningen. The theme was Tradition and Innovation in Operation Management. The whole idea of organizing this conference was to really be part of the EurOMA community, and that we really want to engage in this community.
However, guys, take care. Organizing a conference is very much unlike going to a conference. It's much more fun to go to a conference. You need less preparation and you can have much more fun after the conference at night.
That's why some people decide never to organize one again, and others decide to do it one more time.
We are the co-chairs of the 16th EurOMA conference in Gothenburg.
And what we were really happy about was to be able to increase the number of delegates, I think about 25%.
And we're also happy about the special session in sustainability with lots of papers.
Yeah, and it's also about being social, networking. So we had a great conference dinner out at the Fortress Island with the midsummer sun and light, late and fun.
Okay, I chaired the Porto conference in 2010. The theme of the conference was service operations management, a topic of my liking. And we tried to match the theme with the conference and the place. And we started out with, I think, was a nice visit to the port wine cellars, which I think created some pleasant memories in the community. And that was a great example of where service meets manufacturing, and a good example of the new challenges for operations, trying to juggle production processes with customers and experiences. And so that set the mood for the rest of the conference. On the inside or the back office of organizing the Porto conference, it was a huge operations task, very complex, with a lot of front office interaction. And so from the perspective of the chairing and the team, it was also an eye-opener for unexpected operations issues, which academics sometimes are not so aware of. And so it was a learning process there as well. And so all of that came together, and I think we had a very pleasant event, both for the customers and for the provider or the operations part of the production process.
I was the chair of the 2011 EurOMA conference in Cambridge, jointly hosted by the Judge Business School and the Institute for Manufacturing. It was the second time we had EurOMA in Cambridge. First time was 1994, and then came back in 2011 with the theme of exploring interfaces to basically build on the growing interdisciplinary work in operations management, bringing service and manufacturing, public and private sector, merging with finance, marketing, and showing basically the breadth of what we do in operations management today.
So I'm representing the 19th EurOMA conference, Serving the World in Amsterdam, actually the last year's conference. What made it special for me is that we as academics don't make that much decisions on any day, but we had to decide in one day, very long day, to make 900 decisions in accepting and rejecting all the abstracts. Another striking thing was actually that even after the conference, people were eager to learn, as our visit to the flower action in Aalsmeer was totally sold out, with more than 50 people starting at 5 o'clock in the morning after the conference.
President Brady, President Cagliano, delegates, welcome to the 20th Annual Conference of the European Operations Management Association.
Social media brought us here. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and we arrived here now all at one time for this festival, not a conference, a festival of operations management.